Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Dan McGee. Haven't done a uh, tour of Dan's garage in a while. I thought I'd do a quick one for you. I've done a lot of changes since the last time I did one. So this is, we'll call it the broadcast area where I make my videos. So you normally don't see all the lighting and all the computer stuff. And this is red. If you're a Stooge fan, you'll get the reference. There's some of my vinyl collection. There's all my woodworking clamps. This actually, at one time, well actually for a long time, over 22 years, this garage shop was a shop dedicated to woodworking. So needless to say, the broadcast area and a lot of this stuff wasn't in here when I was doing it, but I retired that portion of my life and now I'm doing other things. But a lot of the old machinery is still in here. And a lot of it's really antique too, old. Built like a tank. Look at the saw. Cut a lot of plywood on this baby. Many lineal feet of oak too. And birch and walnut and all kinds of other stuff. This is my little tool area where I keep a lot of hand tools, measuring tools. Swing around here, you got all my air guns, my routers. Then this cabinet is all full of hardware, all packaged up. It's a lot of hardware in there. So, and there's more of my hand tools, electric tools, hand electric. Alright. So I do a little bit of everything. When I do carpentry, that's my tool belt. That's my train case for my railroad memorabilia and my small, really cool HO trains. You'll see around the shop trophies, and those are off from my tractor and cars that I used to show in car shows. This guy here is called the Cool Dude. I picked him up at a car show in the 1980s, and he was stuffed in a drawer till about a year ago, and found him and thought he needs to come out and join us in the garage. So that's the Cool Dude. So there's the garage door is actually in the back of this background of tools. I can open the door, and if you look up there, this whole thing will move with the garage door. So the garage door actually still opens. There's my collection of hats, which I use when I do my silly videos I do. And there's some cool memorabilia. Gumby. old Beatles album. Pee Wee Herman. Don't go to the show with him or you'll probably get kicked out. Here's a picture of when I was doing some filming. It was actually in the Chicago area. I was doing some filming with Max Gale. You would know him from Barney Miller, and lately he was on General Hospital. He won 2 Emmy Awards for his role as Michael. Alright, so here's my little kitchenette area. Oh, there's more trophies. This is a working shop. I still use it, just so you know. But I also hang out here too, so I'm gonna hang out in a cool spot. Here's a old camera, Hitachi Z31. So all these tools you see hanging on the wall, these are all real, all different kinds of planes. Before routers were affordable, people used to shape wood with all these different planes. So if you look around the garage, I've got these planes hung up all over the place. But I got these from my uncle, which they were my grandfather's. So I'm not sure how old they are, but I'm thinking they gotta be 75 to 100 years old. But I'm just guessing. No matter how old they are, they're cool looking. There you go. If you're a Chevy guy, you know what that is, right? That's an old rally wheel cap. I had that upstairs in the garage and it was all dusty. I said, that piece got to go downstairs. It's too cool of an item. So these came on like the cooler Chevys, like the Super Sports and Corvettes and things like this, like that. They were called Chevy rally wheels, but that's the center portion of it. So this is my train room. As you can see, it says Dan's Train Room. But I also ordered started a new portion of the room. I took half of it and I made the RC little machine shop. So on this side here, you'll see all the trains. Some of these trains are new and some of them are from the 40s and 50s, and actually these cars down here are even older than that. They're called tin plates. So this lathe I got from my uncle many years ago. He gave it to me and I used it for a while and then I stored it away, and I just took it out maybe a year or so ago. And it's old Craftsman Lathe. If I had to guess, it was probably from the late 1950s into the 60s maybe. So my brother Dave actually found this picture, not filming very good, but I found my picture of my uncle actually using this lathe in the shop that it normally was at. So that was cool. And then this lathe here is a Craftsman. It's like a, it would probably be considered like a mini lathe. It's got like a, I think it's considered like an 8 by 20 maybe, or a 6 by 20. But it's a pretty cool little piece. I picked it up for a couple $100. Shined it all up and changed the changed to a quick release for the bit, quick release bit. Shined up the chuck, got it working real good. So that's this area. Now this is new. This is brand new. This is not antique. It's 2021 technology. It's a mini mill. Pretty cool, huh? So I hooked up a digital readout on it. So when I turn the handle, I don't have to look at the gauges down here. I can look up here and you can see it moving. It's pretty accurate. So that's that. Now this thing's very cool. This is a Logan Lathe. And this is like twice as big as the one you've seen over there. And this was really old. This was probably built, I'm thinking somewhere in the 1940s. And this originally came with a half a horsepower 220. No, it was a 110 motor. You could have actually did it either one a 220 or a 110. And it was a series of pulleys, and it probably had 10 different pulleys that you would change belts around to get all the different speeds. Well, I wanted to upgrade, so I went with a horse and a half, 3-phase, and this originally came with a leather belt, by the way. It wasn't a V belt, it was leather. So I changed the belt out to a regular belt for a car, the flat belts that they have nowadays. So anyways, that's a horse and a half. I had to build the pulley for it, so that's the first project I did on this lathe. I built that pulley for this lathe, but I used the old an old pulley that I had, and I was able to make it work long enough just to make this pulley. So what else is neat about this? This is a variable frequency inverter, and with the 3-phase motor you can change the speeds without changing any belts. So you see how slow it's going. If you look up here, it's going about 100 RPM, 100 revolutions per minute. So the way I was doing this is since I don't use all these pulleys anymore, I hooked up a I forgot what you call it, but it reads the revolutions. That's what that little red. There's a magnet that's glued onto the pulley, epoxied, and then as that spins around, it feels the magnetism, and that's what gives you it counts the revolutions. So everything else works the way it normally did back in the 1940s, except I don't have to change belts now. I just turn this little switch, and I can change the speed of it. But all the other gearing on it still work. So if I wanted to do threading, it could do threading. But pretty cool, right? Now this is a Shopsmith. This is old. This is like a version 1 Shopsmith. They've got, like, I think they've got right now like up to 12 versions of it. Now this originally was, I have it set as a drill press only now, but this was one. This was a like a 5-in-1 machine, and what it would do is you could actually flip it over and make it into a lathe, or you can use it as a table saw. There was attachments for that, but this was built like after World War II, and I think it only sold for like $100 or something. It was very affordable, and it was specifically designed for the guys coming home from World War II, who had all this talent but was living in really small spaces in the city with the small garages and that, and they still wanted to you know, use their talents that they learned overseas in the Army. So that was their the demographic for people to buy this. And there's a lot out there, and a lot of them are in really bad shape. But I got this many years ago. Actually my cousin bought this for me. My cousin Raymond, by the way, Raymond Gallery. Now this here was in a metal dumpster. In other words, somebody was scrapping it out, and the motor was on it. It was all rusted. Didn't look like this, of course, but I took it back and shined it all up and rewired everything. Runs nice, right? I didn't change any bearings out. Put a new switch on it. As you can see, it's got a broken I forgot what they call this, but it's the thing that makes it go up and down. So that's going to be one of my first things I do with my new lathe, is I'm going to build a new one. It'll probably be similar to the one that was on the Shopsmith. All right, so these are all my different sanders and grinders for doing metal work. This is just some of my different bolt storage. So anyhow, what I've been doing, I think it's a good idea, is I've been buying, if you see, I got a lot of these toolboxes. Home Depot has these toolboxes for like $150, and they're really, really nice for doing like specific things. Most of this is related to the mill, all the different milling tools and stuff.